So in New Zealand, even the conservation department, so help me, we have to keep control over them. They now know just how important it is. You know, they do things like doing carvings and saying, can we have this as a kaikaranga, which means as someone to call and welcome visitors. We say, oh, here we go again, okay. So we had to explain. You do not have something symbolizing a kaikaranga person like me, representing me. No. There's no one that can represent me, and that's the problem, you know, with some people who think they can. Plus, talking about the tohuna. It takes a tohuna to talk about a tohuna, because we know where it's at. You know, you're talking about our very existence and everything about us. So, believe me, no. Plants are no different from us. I've seen a stupid fool chopping the branches off an orange tree, and the branches were hitting him back, you know. It still didn't occur to him. And here, you know, an orange tree that could feed so many people, and it was covered with fruit. He didn't get the message, you know. So finally I went over to him and I said to him, excuse me, why are you doing this to this tree? You know, for me as a human being feeding, I said, yes, I fed my babies when they were, soon after they were born. But I said, you know, this tree can feed so many people, and you've been having trouble, haven't you? The branches have been slapping you back. You know, haven't you woken up to the fact that you have a tree that can feed so many people? So he said, are you telling me to stop chopping the tree? I said, well, what do you think? You know? But as I said, fortunately, in a way, a lot of people have that respect. So that you just don't do things like that. You have to be very careful. I wanted to chop down our apricot tree outside our home because it had been burnt by fire. I wanted to put it to rest and plant 2 other apricot trees in her place. What I got was, don't chop me down. I can still give you fruit. And so that's exactly what happens. It's still giving us fruit. We also tell trees off. Let me tell you that. It's not all roses and, you know. If, for example, a tree doesn't do a very good job, we tell them, you know. You're not producing too much this year. And we're feeding you and we're making sure you're okay. What's going on here? You know? How long do you think you can stay with us with this sort of attitude? And it's like, whack, whack. Sure enough, the next year you got a decent crop of fruit, eh? We talk to them all the time. We talk to our plants in the ground. We leave energy for them, all that stuff. Our crops have never failed us. Why? Because we can read all the signs. We know when to plant and when to harvest our food. You know, so that for me, all of us had to remember that. My English side, of course they've got a lot of herbal medicines. And I've told them, I said, no, when you first came to this country, you brought in a whole lot of new range of medicines for the people. Geranium, the lily, all these things. Roses, negative energy do not like roses, particularly if they are the old-fashioned type of rose that still has its own fragrance. The rose has an 11 vibration, which is the Godhead doubled. And Maori thanked the English for bringing the rose to our country because they could read the plant and they could relate to the plant. So it's not as if humanity as a whole haven't got these gifts. We have. It's just a matter of remembering, because a lot of our English, like the rosehip syrup and stuff like that, we still use. My grandmother, who was half English and half Tuhoi, made parsnip wine. And so all these things. And I say to people, no, my English side have all this, but a lot of them have forgotten. But those who remember know, they can still do an excellent job of healing. So I actually work with English healers as well, simply because they are still in tune with nature and with working with, that sort of wisdom.
And I'm reminded as Rose is describing taking or working with roses and what they have to offer, frequently think of how we use roses in what kind of ceremonies. Weddings, funerals, taking them to people who are sick in the hospital. And there's the opportunity to connect with that vibration, to add that instead of, here's a rose. You understand what I'm saying? And we created a rose garden around the statue of Mary. And part of that, and hearing Rose say that the negative energies don't like being there, part of what the intent is, as someone goes there to meditate and to pray, that they can leave the things negative that are bothering them. And I want to tell one story from this tree that happened to me that I will never forget. I was in a hurry and I wanted to hang the chime that is there. And I thought, well, I should go in and get a string and attach it to it. But I thought, no, I'm in a hurry. Is there a place on the branch for me to hang it? And I looked and there wasn't. And I go, I'll just break this limb off because it didn't have any leaves on that particular limb. And I thought, well, the limb is dead. I'll just break it off there and then I can put the circle down and hang that from it. The minute I snapped that branch, I felt the pain of the tree. Primarily, I think, because I didn't ask for permission with it. I will never forget that experience. It impacted me so great. And how I didn't notice what the integrity was of that plant and violated it so quickly to meet my agenda. Truly, I will never forget that.
Oh, that's right. How would we like it? We tell numerous stories to our grandchildren about the trees, someone chopping a tree down and they go and the tree has, stood up again. Simply because they hadn't asked for permission. They hadn't checked it out with the god and the goddess of the forest. All that stuff. We have numerous stories to help our children. Like, you don't just break off, that's right. Like for us, we use leaves in our ceremonies. We talk to Tane and we talk to Hinewa. They are the god and goddess of the trees. And so we ask them if we can, and we also give salutations to their children, the trees. So it's not just asking their parents, the atua or the god and goddess, it's also a matter of paying and giving them salutations as well. So for me, talk about the different species. We have over 5,000 in our native bush at home, right next to us. We go out there, we still have the fairies, Patu Pere. We have different types of fairies. I suppose that's what you call them here. I don't know. I'm trying to find the English word because my language is Maori. We actually leave food for them. We leave gifts for them. And if you don't do that, then they say they're going to leave. They're going to leave that area. And we say to them, don't you ever do that. Because we need you. We need your energy. We need your spirit. We need your life force to help our forest and to keep things going. We've had people ridicule the Maori for a long time, but not much longer. Because even scientists are finding that what we have to say is perfectly true. Because they can actually pick up the energies around in the plants and around the trees and all that stuff. So I mean, I can't say enough about that because we are one.